because he was very confident that his draft was not going to allow Team Outplayed to get all these comfort picks. So we'll see where they go with the Varia and the Arden taken off the board.
Here's how this happens now. IraqiZorro, after banning the Arden top, is going to first pick Reza so he can split push. Takes it away from Peko. That's the two biggest comfort picks away from Team Outplayed. You take the Reza for the top lane, you take the you ban the Varia away from the mid lane. Suddenly, you've got both Peko and Rock Bomber taken off their comfortable picks, and you also have a fantastic split pusher in your side lane with Arden taken off the board.
Yeah, we'll see if they do grab that, but it's, I mean, at the same time though, is it really worth getting that for your first pick and leaving things like the Churnwalker, the Lorelei, the Flicker that have been so hotly contested? They are going to grab themselves that Reza. I definitely agree with it. I think it is the smartest play to make right now, but we know that Rock Bomber is comfortable on more than just the Varia.
Yeah, of course. I don't want to claim to be some kind of draft god, which I am, but I'm not going to say it on broadcast. But Anchor.
That one is questionable.
Best Anchor World. We've seen his cue card. He's locked it on in. Outplayed, bringing out the big picks here. But so far, I definitely think IraqiZorro drafting incredibly well. The Yates pick I really like as well. Just a phenomenal captain, great in the jungle as well. And even great as a top laner, honestly. You can kind of do wherever, you can take him wherever you want on the map.
Yeah, and I'm trying to overhear some of the conversations that these two are having with the rest of their team, and like it's pretty in depth what they're doing. Is it okay if we let them have this? Will we be okay with doing that? Like that's the Celeste is kind of being talked about right now, saying I overheard Outplayed saying if they take Celeste, are we still going to be okay? And that was, the conversation that was being made before they made those picks to lock in the Anka and things like that. So really smart, again, saying if you're comfortable, we know that this is a potential matchup you could have to deal with. Are you comfortable with it? If yes, go ahead and lock it in.
Yeah, well, it's going to be Lorelei and Finn as well for IraqiZorro, and they have been, I mean, they're not comfort picks, they're just super strong picks right now. Anyone is going to be happy to step up on into the fray with those ones. And Adagio, honestly, has been a huge theme across today. We hadn't really seen tons and tons of him in the last few weeks. He'd been a pick, but not a power pick in the way that he has been today.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Hammy actually played him earlier as the weapon Adagio in the bottom lane.
CP.
Did pretty well with it, but unfortunately was not able to find the victory. We'll see if this ends up being a captain, though, because they're still hovering the Silvernail, and they are going to lock in the Silvernail. So likely with the... what's likely right now is Anka going into the mid lane with the Adagio as a support, and then you have the Silvernail in your bottom lane with Yates either top lane or jungle. Jungle's most likely, and this could be an interesting one with this hover. We'll wait and see. They're going to grab the Flicker for the side of IraqiZorro. So this kind of protection composition, you have Finn and Flicker being these big, beefy tanks in the front line. One a little bit larger than the other, but they're still both very, very durable. And then, of course, the Lorelei as well, but they don't really have the necessary ranged damage. Lorelei is really their only ranged attacker with that Inara being locked in.
Yeah, they're just looking for all in right here. Yeah. That is the story of the composition for IraqiZorro. On the other side of things, Gwen going to be the last lock in there. We'll see how that's going to pan out. I want to take a quick look at Iraqi's last game. In case you guys missed it, we saw a ridiculous slugfest between Hammy and IraqiZorro. Barely surviving multiple times, IraqiZorro managed to cling onto life and then come back and somehow managed to win the game.
Yeah, I mean, this was 4v1 against the Vein Crystal, and somehow they were able to use that Reza to put enough pressure on to prevent them from being able to close it out. It's so close to finishing. You can barely even see any health left on the Vein Crystal, but the most important hit point is the last hit point, and that one did not go down.
A piece of solo queue advice for everyone at home: if you get it to 0, you win the game. It's time to jump on into our grand finals here. It's going to be IraqiZorro up against Outplayed. We're going to see who's taking this one as I pass it back once more to Xscoundrel and Down.
Here we are, Xscoundrel, and ladies and gentlemen, it is the finals of this All-Stars Fantasy event. Team IraqiZorro versus Team Outplayed, a best of 3, decide who will be taking it all in this week of Fantasy All-Stars.
And we're going to play transitive properties, which doesn't totally work in this instance because they beat everybody. But we're going to play transitive properties about how they performed in each of their individual games. You would say that the stronger performers coming in here has been the side of Outplayed. They have been the guys that have kind of been on top and really haven't looked like losing games too much, whereas IraqiZorro has made use of some extreme comebacks to get back into his games and find those victories. So you would say, just from the outset, that Outplayed looks favored in this particular matchup. But I mean, like we said, Iraqi's made some massive comebacks in his games. You really can't count out his late game decision making either.
No, definitely not. It's going to be really interesting to see how this one does play out. Rock Bomber playing the CP Gwen in the mid lane. LuluZero playing a Weapon Power Narya in the top lane, bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a bit of a wild draft. IraqiZorro now very, very low. Has to be careful.
I think he goes down here. Pico comes in with the anchor to make sure it happens, and first blood goes the way of Rock Bomber.
I think essentially they're going to... Well, CP Gwen on 3v3, there was a time in the meta where CP Gwen was kind of everywhere, right? CP Gwen in the 3v3 was made you to feel like you didn't have any fun. It basically was there to stop you from ever finding an engage, because whenever you stepped up to try and find an engage, you get blasted for a 30 HP by a CP Gwen. In this instance, I guess it's just a poke from range to continuously whittle down the opponents until they've provided clear route of opportunity for Pico or for Outplayed to get in there and find those finishing blows. But I'm very interested to see how Rock Bomber pilots it, because he has been the standout performer for Outplayed's team.
Definitely going to see how that one does go down. I remember 5v5, the starts of it, CP Gwen was pretty strong, but she also, like Weapon Power Glaive, kind of just fizzled out of the meta as new picks came on through. Outplayed this time playing the mix. He's playing Mixie Scoundrel. He's playing Silvernail.
He's playing the Mixie. Yeah, he is playing the breadth of heroes that you get from Outplayed is really strong, and you know, he's going to be very happy to just in that bot lane farm up, use that to jungle clear to his advantage to take those waves. And again, he's matching up against TiVo on this Reza, so he will have to be careful about how close he gets to Reza. We saw that TiVo demolished Mixie a couple of times in this exact matchup in the previous games. So he will have to be a little bit careful about that laning phase, and it looks like he's just letting that wave push into him right now, so he's in a pretty safe position.
So far, so good. Oh, Max Green, though, does get taken out by Cos with the pull in.
Had his flask available as well, Darcy, so just didn't see the hook coming over the wall, unfortunately, and ends up going down. This is already a good start for Outplayed's team, starting as they mean to continue. Pico as well on this this anchor. I'm very much looking forward to. He's also matching up against LuluZero. Bit of an engage in the middle, though.
Yeah, engage in the middle is going to be IraqiZorro once more going very low here. Cos as well. Can he get away? Oh, he does get away for now! Kill goes Rock Bomber's way. IraqiZorro falls. Level on the wrong side of the jungle. Has to try and march his way out as Flicker. Should be able to. I think they'll leave him alone. No, they put back in. Never mind. I spoke too soon, and Pico's going to come on in and just clean that kill up on the anchor here. Nice and easy for him. LuluZero trying to catch out Cos. Stuns him against the wall. Cos going very low, but everyone else is still there, and it's just too risky, even with Max Green there, to follow forward for more kills.
Yeah, I'm interested about this LuluZero pick. I guess it's because if he does build the sort of weapon power heavy...
Oh, my lord.
Oh, dear. Linara gets the kill there.
Yeah, jumped on in. Lulu, do you want to... Before you go on that tangent, Scoundrel, I just want to say, like, how hype is an Inara anchor matchup between Pico and LuluZero? Like, the two players, the two heroes.
Yeah, I think definitely Pico on this anchor. It's a matchup that shouldn't be too spicy in terms of what happens in the lane, because I don't think Pico's ever going to search for an opportunity to go in, because it's so easy for LuluZero to just be tanky and also sort of out sustain and eventually just beat him in a 1v1 scenario. What I'm really looking forward to seeing is how LuluZero uses this Inara, which is inevitably going to be building sort of a high DPS weapon power Inara against a very, very immobile backline of the sort of the Gwen and the Silvernail. Now, obviously, Gwen has got her B. That'll give her a little bit of movement speed. But versus an Inara who will chase you down through that, you know, this is an opportunity here for LuluZero to just destroy Rock Bomber and Outplayed.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that one does play out. So far, gold is in favor of Team Outplayed, as Rock Bomber doing well on this CP Gwen early. Definitely one of those picks that needs to scale up, become a menace, but so far so good as they get themselves another Crystal Trent. IraqiZorro and Max Green not really being able to contest any of these jungle objectives, which just puts Rock Bomber in an even better position.
Yeah, and he can pretty much just harass for free versus Iraqi and Max Green. Never going to get close enough to get pulled in by the polite company. Always going to be slightly out of range of those basic attacks from IraqiZorro, and just with the zoning potential of Lost Boy Toff on this Adagio too. Oh, wait a second.
TiVo attempting to go in after getting caught by Koz in the mid lane, though. Lots of damage onto Max Green and IraqiZorro. Pico's now coming in on the anchor to try and find a double kill. Rock Bomber charges forward, doesn't quite get it, but Pico's there, dives on in. One gets two, potentially, with the ultimate. It comes back to him, but it doesn't quite catch Max Green. Is able to sustain. LuLuZero's charging down the lane. Oh, they just burst down Rock Bomber. You're dead, son. Can they get more is the question. That's level going down. LuLuZero's on Lost Boy Toff. It's just a fight on all sides of the lane, but LuLuZero may lose it now. Can Pico find the kill? Yes, he can. Gets it. Max Green going to be charged upon by Pico, but TiVo's here. TiVo wants Pico. Pico will lose his life to TiVo, and the messiness is done.
Yeah, but all said and done. Well, nearly done. Koz gets pulled in, but I don't know if they're going to have the DPS to take down TiVo here, especially with that flask in tow. Iraqi has to be a little bit careful, but the pull is down for Koz for just the moment, so he'll be able to just gladly move back into lane. It's been a bit spicy so far. Right now, though, it is Outplayed team on top in kills and in gold. Rock Bomber with that Spellfire, you can see the damage, the output that he's got is actually pretty insane. Very strong harass, and it's very difficult for a Finn pre-6 to actually respond to that. That's why this lane's been going so easily for Rock Bomber. He's just been able to spam A, and there's been very little that either IraqiZorro or Max can do about it.
Currently, seems like Outplayed's team may have slight advantage as far as shots are called, control around the map. IraqiZorro hasn't really hit a spot now yet on that Lorelei where damage is of a concern to Team Outplayed, but you do have to constantly be scared of LuLuZero Zanara in the bot lane. Pico is doing his best to hold him off that turret, whilst TiVo does work to the top side. Outplayed and Koz are going to move on in. Somehow TiVo takes down the turret in a 1v2 lane before Koz and Outplayed can get back to their lane. That's a massive macro mistake coming out of them, giving gold where it should have been existed. And now LuLuZero's charging down onto Pico. Gets back under his turret, maybe safe as he wave clears here. LuLuZero wants to fight though, goes in, just slam dunks on top of Pico. LuLuZero then gets his kill stolen by level.
Yeah, Pico didn't have his ultimate available as LuLuZero dives back onto him. They do get that trade in the turret in the top lane, but LuLuZero is starting to get a little bit scary. And if you are Gwen, if you are Outplayed on the Silvernail, you will have to think about this Inara. She will do a lot of burst damage, especially in the mid portion of this game. So you do have to keep your eye on how LuLuZero is playing. He is again another win condition for IraqiZorro's team, as he has been throughout pretty much all of the games that we've seen him play so far.
Yeah, no, LuLuZero is just a monster on this Inara, showcasing the power that she can have, just so mobile and scary. 7-4. Gold starting to become a little bit more even, only 700 in it. Fight in the top side here as Outplayed may be in trouble. Here comes the Yates ultimate to try and keep him alive. Knockback comes from the Silvernail. Max Green's moving in, wants to try and pull them all back into range of TiVo here. Level trying his best to slow them all down, but it doesn't look like they're going to get anything. Pico's actually moving up. Low target on TiVo, very, very tempting, but everyone respectfully backs off, making sure not to give any advantages over to Pico's anchor here.
Again, Anchor is one of those scary prospects. We saw Rock Bomber play Anchor previously, where he was just popping off. And if you give her an inch, she will take a mile. It's one of those heroes that can just constantly snowball and constantly put pressure on you. As this CP buff is now the target. This could be a bit spicier than usual, though, as everybody is in the vicinity.
Mooncloak and, of course, the Inara ultimate. Everyone's charging in, and Rock Bomber gets deleted. Pico using his ultimate defensive. The Mirage comes through everyone, but I don't think he's getting out of this one alive. Trying his best to use his A for movement speed, trying to get to Lost Boy Toff for the hill. Oh, the block comes through on the Reza fire starter and is able to escape there. Only one casualty in that fight, and of course, Rock Bomber's Gwen was it.
Yeah, it was a really risky CP buff invade to go for when Outplayed was already dead in that situation. I guess I try and take a 4 versus 5. You're very confident in that situation as it was, but we need to have these Crucibles online for Rock Bomber. You know, that is the biggest weakness that he's going to have in this game, that he really just can't do anything if he gets pulled into the fray by the Fim. So once those Crucibles are ready and rolling, Rock Bomber should be in a bit of a safer situation. He has also now picked up the Frostburn, so heavy control on this CP Gwen in these pre-team fight stages, just to constantly pressure the team by having that Frostburn applied, making it more difficult for them to escape the burst and the poke damage coming out from the side of Outplayed.
Mid lane turret will fall here. TiVo just lurking, looking for an engage. Outplayed gets bursted down on that Silver Nail. Not how you want to start things off if you were looking for a fight, but they are looking for a fight, and the damage is out onto IraqiZorro, who manages to kite back and survive. Cos dives out. Rock Bomber's dead. Lucio from the sideline takes him out, and Cos will be next. That is not what you want if your team outplayed, and he will fall himself. Pico and Lost Boy Top trying to turret, just too much damage available to Team IraqiZorro.
I mean, when you're playing a composition like IraqiZorro has got, rather what the Outplayed team's got, you cannot be looking for face-to-face brawls. You need to be abusing that range advantage that you have with the CP Gwen, not looking to get close quarters, because if you get close quarters, you play directly into IraqiZorro's team hands. You have an Inara, Luluzio on this Inara, who's absolutely monstrous, and a weapon power Reza, both of which are going to shred through your immobile backline if you give them an opportunity. It is very risky to go into close quarters engages, even if you have that sort of burst poke damage coming out from the Gwen, because if you give them the opportunity to close the distance without having to apply much pressure or effort, they will do so and they will kill you. I want to see a much safer distance applied to the side of Outplayed when they're looking to play around these teamfight situations.
Ghostwing was secured, and now the Black Claw is going to be the objective for Team IraqiZorro here. Hiko is in the bot lane, so won't be able to contest. Rock Bomber potentially could steal it over the wall. Could be a monstrous still. Ace gets caught there by Luluzio, and now they're just going to move on in. Here comes the Reza into the middle of the fight. Lost Boy Top trying to use the Verse of Judgment to peel everyone back. Tira gets pulled on in. Lost Boy Top just about gets out alive. Pico now will be porting back to defend these turrets from the Black Claw. No one's dead yet, which is definitely an advantage on the side of Team Outplayed. If they had lost someone, this could just be armories going down here. The Black Claw. Go on.
No, even just you notice, even the smallest amount of shield is having wondrous effects versus the CP Gwen. That everybody is low now on IraqiZorro's side. Rock Bomber looking to try and go for the kills.
Pico gets one. Pico gets two. It is a double kill. Yates will teleport, jump forward, try and get more. Luzio escapes down to the bot side. IraqiZorro and TiVo will be safe to backport. The Black Claw only able to break open one turret, leaving the tier 2 low, but still standing.
And you can see that's actually a pretty good response to the Black Claw take now. Gold, exactly even, maybe about 50 or 100 gold in between it. But honestly, these guys now at the very even keels in this game. I really want to see Rock Bomber either go for the Broken Myth, which I think he's going to so desperately need as shield starts to get stacked up on the side of IraqiZorro's team, or maybe go towards that Clockwork to have the A off cooldown more quickly. But whatever he decides to go for, he's going to go with the Broken Myth. I think it's probably the better option in this situation. That Broken Myth is going to start to amplify that damage output that he's got, especially versus the shared resistances that Finn applies with that Polite Company.
Things starting to become a little bit tense as gold becomes exactly even here. Turrets even as well. IraqiZorro and his team moving on in, trying to catch someone out in their own jungle, but everyone's safe for now. The Ghostwing, about to respawn, will be keenly awaited by Team IraqiZorro as they start to set up for it.
It looks like Ghostwing is very firmly in terms of map control over to IraqiZorro's team, though they can see TiVo on the second side, opposite side of the map, just trying to create a bit of a slow wave split push pressure, and that's going to mean IraqiZorro's team will back off. Though it doesn't really look like Outplayed's team feel confident enough to go for the Ghostwing. I think the problem is if by going for Ghostwing, you're creating a situation where Luluzio can very easily find his way onto that backline. So actually, these global objectives are really hard for Outplayed's team to actually start, specifically because you just put your backline in a jeopardous situation. And versus a Reza and a very high damage output, weapon power Inara, it's probably not the situation you want to find yourself in.
TiVo getting that tier 2 in the top side. The rest of the team are going to start this Ghost Wing. The Mooncloak gets popped and they're pulling on in the fight. Can they get the damage out is the question. The Verse of Judgment holds them all back. Trying to escape is Rock Bomber from LuluZeo, and Yates is there to try and keep him alive. LuluZeo onto Rock Bomber. A lot of damage going out. Found it to keep him alive. It's a mission to save the Gwen. And I think they may have just done it as LuluZeo is all by himself under the turret. Gets taken on down. Overextensions for sure, but Lost Boy Toph did lose his life to keep the rest of Team IraqiZorro back. It's not over yet, though, as the rest of the team can potentially regroup. Oh my goodness, TiVo, you're a madman diving into the backline. You get taken down. Pico gets the kill with a Spellfire. That's what they needed to open up the gates, and the Ghost Wing will be Team Outplayed.
Yeah, I mean, that was Inara single-handedly trying to chase down Rock Bomber there, not getting the work done as Rock Bomber was able to use B at the crucial time. However, it was a single person zoning out a massive damage output from the side of Outplayed's team. Like I said, on the flip side, though, there wasn't actually the damage there for IraqiZorro's team to punish, and they ended up trading 1-for-1. And Ghost Wing now going over to Outplayed's team is a nice boon for them. It's going to allow them to keep themselves fighting in this game.
Especially as the Black Claw spawns as well. Could just be enough to give themselves an advantage if a team fight was to break out in this river area. Verse of Judgment is back as well. Just need to wait for Koz's ultimate to return so that he can be that threat that teleports to the safety to keep, Rock Bomber safe from this Inara. 17 minutes into this game. Gold, very even still. Turrets did fall, though, to the minion wave pushes. Looks like this Black Claw will be the take. Inara wrong side of the map here to be useful just yet, but it's very low damage.
Very easily get over with the ultimate, though, if absolutely need be. And you can see it is just so risky for these global objectives to be started by Outplayed's team. They are the ones that want to respond to the Black Claw take. They're not the ones that want to take the Black Claw unless they have a serious man advantage on the map.
Everyone ports back, repositions behind their turrets here. Doesn't feel like they have enough damage as well to burst down that Black Claw. It takes some time.
Especially not with Outplayed not being there. You know, he doesn't have... he was the guy that's in the top lane pushing. There's a massive top lane minion wave that's going to force TiVo to respond. Don't know whether anything can be done by Outplayed's team to actually get work done on the map here. Ideally, when someone goes to the top lane, you want to do something on the bottom side of the map, but Ghost Wing's already gone. So
they're moving down as a 5-man unit straight onto Inara. Pico going to start off this fight. Koz there for the stun. He's just dodging out of everything. LuluZeo is a god, and he gets out alive. Your CC means nothing to Inara, and because of that, everyone on the side of Team IraqiZorro dives straight onto the Black Claw. Team Outplayed on the macros. Koz dives in, potentially just to his death way too early, and that's going to be him going down. Black Claw going down very quickly as well. Outplayed straight into the middle of the fight. TiVo would dive upon of him. Rock Bomber's there now to try and provide the damage, but look at TiVo just doing work. He's going ham. He takes out Outplayed. Pico dives away from the fight, trying to get on out. Lost Boy Toph will be okay for now. It is going very low as well on this dodge. Oh, Pico, that's not the place you wanted to be. That makes him going out of this fight. They pick up TiVo on the backside of it all. May just mean the Black Claw can't be contested here. Oh,
yeah,
this game.
I think versus the CP Gwen, you have to be so careful. LuluZeo was looking for an opportunity, and the ultimate doesn't get the work done. Again, like you said, they managed to stop the Black Claw Dalsy, which was the primary aim there, but it was not a tasty fight to look at. Koz, a little bit disconnected from the rest of his team when he made that dive. But, you know, maybe the end result was worth it in this situation.
Yeah, no, he sacrificed his life for the greater good, Scoundrel. Now things get interesting. The Ghost Wing is on the map. Both dragons ready to be taken. Where do you put your pressure is the question. We'll have to see where these guys do decide to throw their scout cams. The vision, of course, going to be imperative to making sure you don't get flanked, but also to understand what the other team values more.
Well, you can see the map pressure in terms of minion waves very much in favor of IraqiZorro's team. So if a Mooncloak came out and they engaged onto this mid lane, that could be a very tense situation for the side of Outplayed. And with Outplayed just being on the top of the map, even though Anchor shows herself at the bot, it's not exactly the ideal scenario. And you can see even Outplayed not responding at this point in time. Koz right up there.
I mean, Piku's just gone on in. He may just lose his life here, trying to run away. Don't think he can do so. Wait, LuluZero goes in. Does LuluZero get out? Water War keeps him alive for now. Outplayed's trying to make his way down the mid lane to get into this fight. Rock Bomber is getting taken down by the Inara, but runs into Koz. He may be in trouble here. Koz, never mind, he's dead. Beautiful forced accord, pulls Rock Bomber and Outplayed into the fight. 2 go down, double kill comes on through for the side of Team IraqiZorro. 3 men dead. They're going to move to the Ghost Wing.
You can't have your weapon power carry on the top side of the map and you just be flirting with death, especially around the area near Ghost Wing. You just need to back off. If they're going to go for Ghost Wing, you just let them have it. I think that, this situation, there's no way that Outplayed makes it to that team fight in time, and they have got so many ways of forcing the engage. They've got the Flicker ultimate, the Inara ultimate, the Finn ultimate, even like you saw TiVo diving in there. That you cannot take those steps and put yourself in a dangerous situation when you've got your sort of main ranged weapon power carry sat on the opposite side of the map. There's just a rookie error.
It's going to be this Black Claw started up here. Rock Bomber's lurking, trying to find the rare still on the Gwen. Goes in for it. Oh, it was close.
Close.
But secured for Team IraqiZorro. They got the Black Claw, they got the Ghost Wing, and now potentially it's time to end this game.
I really like that Level's gone for a null wave gauntlet, by the way. It's not something that you see too often, but if you run in a null wave either Koz or Lost Boy Toph, it's one of the crucibles that's either going to get burnt to stop the null wave or stopped from being used, and that gives you the opportunities then to look for some of the more impactful team-wide ultimates like that Finn's Forced Accord.
Black Claw starting its work on this armory turret, down to half health already. They're doing a lot of work to it here before it even breaks on into the base, but in true fashion, we see Reza up in the top lane, split pushing, trying to keep Outplayed. 1, not in the team fight, 2, in trouble. LuluZero dives on in, doesn't quite find the engage he wants here. Pika will get out as well, but Outplayed is out of position and he is dead to all rights. Turret will fall down, not enough damage yet. Forced Accord pulls Lost Boy and Kovs into the fight. Rock Bomb is safe for now. Maybe he could do work on the backline. Low energy though on the Gwen, doesn't really have the damage, and LuluZero's wants him. Koz pulls him out from Rock Bomber, but it doesn't matter. Rock Bomber is the last man standing against 5, and that 5 is moving their way onto the Vein Crystal. There they get the energy. There's the burst from the Gwen. Maybe you can take some out. That's 1. Looking for more, but Rock Bomber, he's out of position, and the ace will mean the game for Team IraqiZorro.
Yeah, I mean, this CP Gwen, I like the idea behind it, but the execution was just not there. Not able to utilize those long-range teamfights. Didn't even have, a clockwork to work with, so you had a very long cooldown on your A. Just some macro errors coming out from Outplayed's team again, and IraqiZorro once more, despite a shaky early game, good late game decision making that's in the win.
1-0 to Team IraqiZorro in this best of 3 finals. Let's get some analysis from the desk.
Phenomenal stuff coming out from IraqiZorro to start things off here in the final. Fantastic performance coming out from him. We are going to be joined here on the desk by Hammy and Shaded Talent, going to help us break that one down. Welcome to the desk, gentlemen. I mean, what do you make of game 1 of the finals there?
Strong, dude. They're a strong team.
Both teams kind of had like opposite win conditions. So, well, actually, not necessarily that. What's it called? Outplayed had Anka, so I guess he could dive. But if Lulu could get onto the back line on the Gwen or the Silvernail, they win. But if he's not able to do that, Iraqi's teams win. Or what's his name? I can't think of his name. Louis' teams win. So yeah. So yeah, it's kind of. And it ended up being that Outplayed ended up just getting caught out, and so then they lost.
Iraqi's team had more dive heroes, plus they had like a mid laner who could give one of them a barrier.
Yeah.
And Gwen is just kind of like a poke, so
Yeah.
she can't really just dive like that.
Yeah.
I was going to ask actually, what do you guys make of the Gwen? Because it's something, CP Gwen mid is not something we've seen a ton of across the VPL. Like, is it just a super fringe pick that can work, or you don't look impressed?
If I seen it on my team, I'd be like, "What are you doing, bro?" But I mean, if he wants to play it, if he does it again and he gets a win out of it, I'll respect it. But
it almost felt like they grabbed the Anka right away. It felt like that was going to be for Rock Bomber, and then once they saw the rest of the draft, like called an audible at the last second to switch it to the Gwen. Like, does that feel like? Am I alone in that, or does it feel like that was kind of like what happened in this draft?
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely feel like they would have had a better chance, putting that Anka in mid lane, because he already showed that strong performance against our team. So I think that probably would have been better, and just pick, like a more reliable pick. I don't know. It was just weird, to be honest.
Well, it was certainly in favor of IraqiZorro. That's the biggest takeaway on the back of that one. Don't forget, these guys are playing for $2,000 right now. IraqiZorro just has to win one more game of Vainglory, and that's going to be going the way of his team, but it's winner takes all. So Outplayed has a bit of a mountain to climb now. He's got to win 2 games back-to-back if he wants a shot at the prize money. But you guys at home can still continue to win. We've been giving away a ton of stuff every single weekend. 25,000 eyes, $500, and Vainglory merch. But I believe we're on to our final giveaway here. That's what I've been told, that we have 5,000 ice remaining to be given away. Get into the Twitch chat. This is one of your last chances to get some swag for yourself, to get some in-game skins and all that good loot before our finals end, because we could have only 1 game remaining unless Outplayed can turn things around.
Yeah, it's definitely going to require a bit of a turnaround, maybe something changing up in the draft for the side of Outplayed to kind of deal with the fact that, you know, if they get pinched out in one role, will they be able to still deal with it? Obviously, they're going to be on A side, so they will have that first pick, which could give them a bit of an advantage in terms of, you know, making sure that they don't get pinched out of one role or one player. So that could be something to really keep our eyes on, is how much importance they put on this first pick when it does come time to it for it.
All right, so draft is underway. Gentlemen, what do you think needs to change here coming in for Outplayed? Because it felt to me like Iraqi, hands down, won the draft in game number 1.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. I think going into this next game, I think Outplayed needs to make, Team Outplayed needs to make sure they get a really good pick for Lulu, so he can hard carry. Wait, is that graphic right?
The team names are swapped.
Oh.
But
So yeah, I think for Iraqi's team, he needs to get Lulu on a pick that can hard carry again. Like he did really well in our last game. And if I was on Outplayed's team, I don't know. I want to make sure Rock Bomber's on a pick that he's really comfortable with, because he can't make those plays. So yeah.
I mean, Yugi can also make plays too,
Yeah.
though. So if he gets one of his picks, like Reza Anara maybe, he might be able to put in some work with those.
looks like Anka might end up being the first pick here for Team Outplayed. So, or maybe they'll change it up. It looks like the team has actually decided to go with the Flicker instead. So not going to be prioritizing that first pick on to Rock Bomber. We'll see how deep his hero pool does run as we get further into this draft.
We'll have to see. IraqiZorro, I'm curious what he's cooking up here for game number 2, because obviously B-side drafting significantly different. Looks like he's going to prioritize himself here, or at least his team, as he locks in that Vox.
And it would actually, I can actually overhear a little bit of the conversation. They said they picked the Flicker because they just didn't want to run the risk of Team IraqiZorro picking Inara and Flicker together, because there's just so much movement speed that those ultimates provide that they would not be able to deal with them. So that was why they grabbed the Flicker right away, to just break up that duo. But now it also leaves the possibility for them to get that duo if they do so choose. And well, there's the Inara hover and there's the Inara lock-in. So they had the plan in mind, and they go ahead and get it, and they get their Varia as well.
Vox is good though into dive.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if Varia's gonna melt Vox regardless. But if the Varia can't melt Vox, like if it's like somewhat even, Vox. If he's good on Vox, he'll just take
the Vox should theoretically here be able to actually like hard carry this game pretty easily. It's super hard to kill a Vox with the dive comp. Yeah, but if the Vox plays in positions correctly, I think they'll be fine.
And so this is assuming that it's going to be a CP Vox.
Yeah,
in the
100%. Yes, I think that's at this point with their comp, I think that's their only chance. A weapon Vox wouldn't work. It needs to be like a hyper farm CP Vox in order to carry this game.
And so that would be IraqiZorro on the one with that Vox. We haven't seen him play the Vox yet today, I don't believe. So it'll be interesting to see how he's able to perform on that pick. But getting some beefy frontliners in front of the Vox never hurts.
Yeah. Definitely. Like they. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was gonna say, so like with Iraqi's comp, I think they should just go straight up for peeling for this Vox. I don't necessarily think they need to get another hyper damage, pick. I think they should just keep going for peel.
Kensei locked in for Team Outplayed. Shaded, what do you make of that?
I feel like they're doing a little bit too much dive at this point. I feel like it's really like they're playing right into Vox's hand pretty much. I think they're going overboard with it. I think
and the Cath. Oh my god.
I feel like they needed they should do something a little bit different.
But now, what do you think of the idea of, like, if you're going for this all-out dive, if you do just get in and kill the Vox
Yeah.
right away
Yeah.
before he has a chance to get out. Like if Catherine stuns this Vox,
Yeah.
with the amount of dive they have, he's just dead.
Exactly. So like if Vox gets caught out, like for instance, if Kath lands a silencer or stun, I think, and they have that small window to opportunity to kill him. But I think if Vox just positions correctly, utilizes that Eve of Harvest and the healing flask, he can be safe and just melt them before they can kill him.
All right, so I want to get a quick take from you guys, or a hot take from you guys. Who do you think won the draft? Who's the favorite here?
Who is Vox?
That was
Iraqi.
IraqiZorro's
I think
team.
Iraqi's team wins. As long as they get ahead early game, which they should. The other team's all melee. As long as they get a decent lead early, I think they'll win.
All right,
Yeah.
Do you agree with that one, honey?
I think if Iraqi plays this hyper carry Vox, they can win. But I don't think if they don't snowball, I do think Outplayed's team is going to take it.
Okay, so it's all about that early game. So what is it that Outplayed needs to do to win that early game to take this?
They just need to play safe, not give up kills, and also retain, try to retain as many buffs and minions as they can to, get that XP and just try to sustain themselves and they can get into the mid and late game and win.
All right, well, it's time to jump on into game number 2. This could be the last game of our Fantasy All-Stars. We're going to jump into game number 2 between IraqiZorro and Outplayed.
Game 2 of these finals. Team IraqiZorro 1-0 up, looking to make it a sweet 2-0 sweep over Team Outplayed. We'll have to see if there can be a comeback, pushes to that third game. Scoundrel. Let's see how this one goes out.
Yeah, we've got Rock Bomber on the Varia again, something that he was so effective on versus Dienzio and Shaded Talents team earlier. And now IraqiZorro has back his CP Vox, which did eventually net them the win, but again, Liluzio was one of the standout performers there. Already we've got Koz in the backline, just trying to put pressure on TiVo, taking those backs. It was a good effective use of the flicker early on here. I like what he did, and it's going to force TiVo back and miss waves, as well as the experience granted to him by those backs.
Pico secures the Crystal Treant on his side as well, playing that Kensei up in the top side. We'll have to see how that one does unfold. Liluzio this time. Moving on over towards that Silvernail. We've seen him play so many things during this week of Fantasy All-Stars, but Silvernail is definitely what we've seen mostly out of him over the weeks gone by. Definitely excited to see how that one plays out as well.
Yeah, Kensei's a really interesting one. He's not in a great place balance-wise right now. Struggling very heavily. Just, he was one of those kits where it's like either overloaded or not overloaded. And right now it's definitely not overloaded because a lot of the values mean he hasn't got the same sustainability. The prevalence of Spellfire for a lot of the CP carries in the game means that his barrier is very easily taken down. I'm wondering whether you see Liluzio go for a poison shit this game. I very much doubt it. We might see IraqiZorro instead choose to go for the Spellfire and the Resonance Bouncers do the work. But overall, I'm interested to see, because he should, in theory, be very good versus someone like Silvernail. So if Pico can get rolling on this Kensei, then maybe we see that.
Lost weight off, back onto this Catherine as well. So looking to try and stack up against this Finn once more. We'll have to see if he's able to do so. And when you look down at the bot side, it's Outplayed trying his hand at the weapon power Nara. Liluzio made it look so easy in the previous game. Outplayed didn't really get as much involved on the Silvernail as he has been throughout tonight. Definitely seems to shine on these melee weapon power carries rather, Scoundrel. So I'm excited to see how he can play when he hits his hands on the Inara.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have the best at times. I think just some map positioning errors coming out from Outplayed, as that you can see Rock Bomber takes a lot of damage in this situation. That creates a lot of pressure now as well, meaning that they're able to go for that CP buff very easily. Although you can see Flicker Cause already setting up for a nice CP buff invade on the opposite side of the map.
Yeah, maybe even slow down Max Screen here. Could go for a kill onto the Finn. Silence not enough to stop the Flask from being popped. And we'll be able to walk away from that one and contest towards the Crystal Treant, but there are 4v4 ready to take it. I think this is something that Team Outplayed will just fall back for. In fact, Liluzio is here as well. They really want to put the pressure onto Team Outplayed, make sure they can't contest it whatsoever. Outplayed now falling back will be fine to get back into lane. You see IraqiZorro's team just so much macro control over the map.
Yeah, and Cole's trying to find some kills there. Unfortunately, was not able to. I did like the rotation down from Liluzio. He didn't have a wave pushing against him in the top lane. He's now very easily able to get back up to the top side of the map and shouldn't miss too much because of that rotation. And also with Max, just buying enough time to allow IraqiZorro and Co to get that CP side jungle from their opponents and then also find their way back to their own CP buff. Unfortunately, lack of pressure on the top side of the map means we're going to lose that bot lane turret, and that's going to be Outplayed taking that very early on versus the Reza. But again, Lulu has been, I don't think he's even able to get a single basic attack versus his opponent's turret.
Yeah, no, that. I mean, it looks like it's fairly healthy. I'll have to see as that shield does get dropped if there's any damage to be had there. But at this point, Pico's been keeping the wave pushed, and because of LuluZorro's willingness, I suppose, to rotate to contest jungle camps, has meant that Pico's had a fairly easy lane up in the top side on Kensei. Just further allowing a gold lead to be developed here for Team Outplayed.
And that early turret also means they can start to push that bot lane wave in. That'll give them a little bit of pressure to allow them to set up vision around Ghost Wing when it ends up spawning too. Also means you can be more aggressive in the CP side jungle, because if Outplayed pushes that wave up, that leaves TiVo having to defend his second tier turret and potentially miss out on experience if he wants to rotate and help Iraqi in the mid lane with those CP buff invades or defends. So this is going to allow a lot of pressure on that bot side of the map to be opened up by Outplayed's team.
Crystal Treant going to be taken here. Rock Bomber attempts. Oh, Cos steals it. Just walks in and steals it. Gets out the little flicker man. OP. In his little hat. IraqiZorro not too happy. Going to throw some auto attacks that way. That is not what you want. You commit so many members to taking that Crystal Treant. It gets stolen away, and now looks like Team Outplayed want to do the same thing. In fact, they just want a team fight here. IraqiZorro gets stunned up, Outplayed onto the back line. IraqiZorro not in a place he wants to be. That's first blood going the way of Inara. Outplayed picking that kill up, and the Crystal Treant gets the way of Rock Bomber. Outplayed may be in a bit of trouble. Nah, just kidding. Brett, he will be able to walk away. Rock Bomber had his back. Just as the Ghost Wing spawns as well. Maybe too early to take it at this stage, but you just see the amount of control Team Outplayed have.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately for Iraqi there, he got Catherine stunned, didn't have the reflex block or the Crucible to save him straight into the root of the Flicker. It's a really nice 1-2 combo, and then at the end of the day, nothing that Iraqi could do. Very easy to just chase him down. And this is, again, partly due to that pressure opened up on the bottom side of the map, with also Lulu just now being stuck, trying to take on the Kensei in a 1v1 scenario. Kensei just constantly getting minion candies to create pressure in that side lane, and now even going on to LuluZorro.
Yeah, this is dangerous. The silence is really hurting Pico. Finally gets the flask pop now, trying to escape with his ultimate. Goes straight back in, stuns over LuluZorro, and then uses the boots to escape to his turret. Good usage of abilities. Rock Bomber, though, gets pulled on into a fight he may not want. 1v3 under the turret. Huge slams found and keeps him alive, though. They are able to get Rock Bomber to safety in the end.
Unfortunately, you need to do something with these scenarios. Like when you get a fountain, or you force someone back, you want to be able to get something on the map. Now the CP buff is coming up. There is not a fountain advantage on Max Green because he doesn't actually have his fountain yet. So you might be able to pop up to the shop and pick that up, and they might be able to contest this CP buff with that fountain advantage. They also have pushed that top lane turret in too. So if LuluZorro takes that red and rotates down, they'll have a pretty decent team fight on their hands.
Mooncloak, though, to try and get everyone in, and looks like IraqiZorro may get caught out. Huge silence comes out of Lockboy Toff, and that's all she wrote. Kensei with the first kill, looking for a second. That's 2. Max Green will be 3rd. Everyone loses their lives in that engagement. Easy 3K coming through forward for Outplayed, and then just rotate straight to the Ghost Wing.
Yeah, unfortunately, with you can see TiVo being in the bot lane, he was not able to respond to that, and that's what you have when you have a Flicker Inara combo. It's disgusting how quickly you can get teams into positions and capitalize on positional advantages like that. Really easy isolation onto Iraqi in the backline. Nothing he could do again in that scenario, and a really, really clever team fight that results in a take from Ghost Wing too.
4 kills to 0. So far for Team Outplayed, they have been dominant so far in any fight they take. Starting to build up a small gold lead. We'll have to see what they can do with it as this goes on. Like you mentioned, the engaged potential that comes out from a Mooncloak into the Inara ultimate. Really devastating to watch. Just allows Kensei to get onto your backline, not a place you want him to be.
No, and Cos has been so useful with that Flicker ultimate throughout this entire series so far. In fact, pretty much through the entire games that we've seen of him. TiVo just unable to go toe-to-toe with Outplayed as well. And you can see Outplayed just having fun in that lane, just pushing him in constantly. TiVo really hasn't had an impact, or even been allowed to have an impact in this game as of yet.
Not what you want if you're playing Weapon Power Reza. You want to be impactful, you want to be scary, constantly threatening, never out of position. Here we go. Bit of a push potentially with a Ghost Wing onto the mid lane, especially with IraqiZorro going back to base to purchase. Bit of damage going to be applied to the turret, not too much though, mind you. Looks like LuluZero and Level feel pretty confident in pushing on up. Cause an Outplay gets spotted out on that scout cam. Bit of a lane swap coming through here. Looks like Pico may take the reins of the bot lane and put the Inara in top side.
I think that's a pretty solid idea because Inara's going to be able to shove in a bit more frequently. And with Tivo being so far behind, he can't really pressure Pico on this Kensei very easily either. So it's just another lane for the Kensei to free farm and get towards the late game. Rocco gets pushed in then.
Rock Bomber gets potentially caught out. Here comes the herbal. Lost Boy Toff takes the pull in. Very tanky on the Catherine. Will be able to escape as well with the Mooncloak to help. And they got a re-engage with Catherine ult. Silence comes through. Pika goes in. Max screen very low. But the target is IraqiZorro with the Varia ult going out. Can they do the work is the question. Tivo and Level are here. It's not what you want to see. Can they get any more kills is the question, or a single kill? In fact, it looks like everyone just gets out alive. It is Team Outplayed who are low on health. Still lacking that fountain to kill them all back up. Rock Bomber just about gets out alive. Had to hold my breath.
Heads up Crucible actually from Koz just to keep him alive. That final resonance bounce would have killed him. So really switched on from Koz to make sure he's still able to keep that a neutral team fight, but though realistically it did really go IraqiZorro's way in terms of pressure on the map. That's going to allow them to get that CP buff invade. They should, for the first time this game, get the double CP buff in their favor.
Definitely going to be going their way. Give that one over to Tivo. You've earned it, pal. And it looks like they put Outplayed back in the bot lane. Pico back up top. Just everything normalizing, stabilizing for now.
I think that's pretty clever. I mean, you want to have Outplayed as close to the team as possible, especially when Ghostwing has spawned. He is a really big engage tool. It's a really good way for you to get onto the back line to deal with Iraqi. So having him there, at least able to very quickly get into position and be a useful tool in these team fights, it's just a little bit safer than having him on the other side of the map.
Yeah, especially with the Ghostwing, like you mentioned. That's the main thing, I think. Just the potential for a team fight in the bot side is more likely at this stage. Gonna be everyone grouping up around the mid side of the map though. Tivo potentially feeling a little bit more comfortable as he dives onto Outplayed and does a little bit of damage on the way. Still very interesting to see the scoreline be so dominant when you just numbers wise. 4-0 inside of Team Outplayed, 2,000 gold lead inside of Team Outplayed, but still they are being threatened by Team IraqiZorro. Every time, just not able to find a kill to put it to their name. Here comes that Mooncloak and the Inara ultimate. They're going to speed on in. Level's trying to get into the fight as quickly as possible. It is IraqiZorro getting bursted down. He gets taken on out. Tivo onto Rock Bomber. Should be okay. Rock Bomber to escape. Forced a cord. Whiffs beautifully. And now it's going to be the fight being pushed on in as Pico goes on backline. Looking for the damage. Max Green should go down, you feel? And he does. As Roz is able to pick him on up with the double root just for swag reasons. That's going to be a Ghostwing taken here for Team Outplayed.
Every time they activate that Mooncloak, Iraqi just caught on the backline by a flank from somebody in this game. It's so difficult for Iraqi to survive in these situations because Kensei this time constantly just putting pressure onto him. They dive in onto Iraqi and kill him instantly, and then the team-wide AoE damage is gone. You don't really have any AoE damage once Iraqi's down, and he's the best answer to that chain lightning coming out from Rock Bomber. So once Iraqi's down, you're relying on that single target damage, which is very easy to micro team members in and out of the range of the Silver Nail, and Tivo just not being tanky enough to dive onto that backline right now. So that's the good game plan for these team fights being activated every time for the side of Outplayed.
6-0, and the gold lead starting to scale up for Outplayed. Desperately in a need of a win in this best of 3 finals. Currently 1-0 in favor of Team IraqiZorro. Outplayed, they need this win to stay alive in this winner takes all stars fantasy event. Everyone grouping back up in the mid lane here. Inara making her way towards the fight just in case. The Mooncloak's not ready. 20 seconds, and that's when Team Outplayed will look to pull the trigger. They can't do it earlier than that. Pico finally whittles away the top lane turret as well.
Yeah, it's going to require someone to answer it as well, which means IraqiZorro, Max Green, and Level rather going to have to be a little bit more cautious in this mid lane because, again, like you said, very close to having that Moon Cloak available, with the mid tower also being a pretty easy target from the side of Outplayed. You can see now IraqiZorro on the top side.
The burst onto Tivo, and Tossboy Toss predicts the disengage. Tivo, you just got styled on by the Tough. The Lost Boys are here. They're going to move into the mid lane now. They got that Moon Cloaked if they want to engage. IraqiZorro is in trouble. Pico's coming on in. Here it comes. Moon Cloak time to fight on up. They're diving on into IraqiZorro. Silence on up. Can they get onto the backline is the question. Rock Bomber needs to position well. Going to be Outplayed diving onto the backline, and everyone's grouped up. IraqiZorro is doing a lot of damage in this choke point, mind you. Here comes Cos with the level, in fact, with the ultimate pulls Rock Bomber in, but the target is Cos. They're going to take him out 7-1. Finally a kill in favor of Team IraqiZorro as Outplayed just go too deep.
Yeah, again, it was a similar situation that we saw in previous games. Fighting that choke point area versus big splash damage mages, it's just not the one. Ain't it, Chief? Ain't it? This is it, Chief, though. A nice pull on to Rock Bomber, and he's already taking insane damage from those resonance bounces from IraqiZorro right now.
Something you have to be very careful about. You see them just off that Captain minion there. This turret going very low, and IraqiZorro is just trying to use Lost Boy Toph. Finara, though, in the top side with the help of Pico. Outplayed takes on the kill onto Mixi. IraqiZorro even. Names are hard, Scoundrel. You have to excuse me.
You just immediately associate Mixi with Silvernail, I know.
I do. Yeah, he's played it so much over the last couple of weeks that every time I see a Silvernail, even solo queue Scoundrel, I just go, yeah, it's Mixi.
When was the last time you played solo queue, Darcy?
Go Swingers landed, Scoundrel.
Are we talking like 2017? Oh dear. Yeah, me too, mate. When I see Mixi in solo queue, or even when I see a Silvernail in solo queue, it's just Mixi, isn't it?
It is Mixi.
It's just like they just picked a Mixi. No, I understand. It's just a common problem.
Common issue over in EU as well.
What do you think about the state of interest? What do you think about the state of interest right now, Darcy? I know you're kind of
very versatile, isn't he? Right now, you can play him weapon power if you want to. You can play him CP. It's kind of like what he used to be.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
really
you can play them both. Buy yourself a Serpent's Mask. Get both divergent paths unlocked. With the CP address, that is, of course. I mean, I'm pretty knowledgeable. Still, Scoundrel, I keep up with things. Ghost Swing is going to get taken by Team Outplayed here as the mid lane push gets started. We'll have to see how deep they want to go. If they want the fight, maybe not. They look like they just want to go towards the Black Claw instead.
So they're just gonna give this over because Tivo's just on the bottom side of the map. They're just happy to just let this Black Claw go. I think at this stage in the game, Black Claw's not the be-all and end-all, right? It's actually just a bit of free gold if you just take it for the side of IraqiZorro's team.
That Avario ult will pretty much push everyone back as well. There's going to be the Black Claw secured here, and now the fight breaking out, trying to disengage it with the Silvernail ult. Pico's trying to get on the backline level, gets annihilated on the backline. Silence from Lost Boy Toph is very impactful. That Crucible far too late and then used randomly. Doesn't block anything, but oh no! What happened? They turn the fight around. A 5v3 goes south. Double kill comes through for IraqiZorro. Pico has to go and deal with Tivo.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. That's the same area that they got devastated by the IraqiZorro resonance bounces before. And that was a 3 versus 5. 3 versus 5 that they walked into that Quibble resonance bounce combo, and they're only going to get one turret of the Black Claw and lose a team fight.
Unreal. Unreal stuff coming out of Team IraqiZorro. Once more showcasing the power of a CP box in a choke point, Scoundrel. Definitely can't underestimate it. I mean, I'm saying this directly to Team Outplayed now, not to the people watching. Twitch chat knows, by the way, all tier 10 analysts, they know you don't fight a CP box in a choke point.
No, absolutely. Tier 10 analysts everywhere, and Twitch chat will be very keen to say, don't do that again, Outplayed. Don't do that again. However, it's still a very even fight. That's a nice blind pull by Cos there, just assuming that I think they saw him from the... they must have seen him from the scout cam there and known he was just sat in that brush. That was a good pull from Cos.
Pico onto Tivo looking for the kill. Reflex block to keep himself alive under the turret. Oh, that ultimate stuns him. There's the disengage with an Neverform Detonator, and Pico will have to respect it. Did get evaded in that scenario.
well, he's got a late game build activated now, actually. You know, this is a pretty solid build. The Serpent's Mask, Breaking Point, Bone Sword, you know, very high attack speed, really good at shredding frontline carries. Enough attack speed to make sure you're activating your perk enough to keep you healthy in these team fights. You're actually at a situation where he's pretty viable now. And, you know, Reza just has kind of missed his power spike, hasn't really had the game impact that he wanted so far, TiVo, and really only has a couple of jobs in team fights, and one of them involves killing Rock Bomber.
That Mooncloak was a little bit amphibious. It's my new word, by the way. I say amphibious instead of ambitious. It's probably a
I
meme.
like it. Amphibious,
Probably shouldn't
yeah,
do it whilst I'm casting.
Mooncloak's amphibious, yeah. I mean, they do use it in the river and on land, so you're not wrong.
I'm not wrong. That's true. Mooncloak pretty much useless in this scenario, but maybe they can dive onto the back line. It's onto Pico. They've got TiVo. They're going. Pico trying to find the kill. Levels trying to get behind them, or TiVo just gets destroyed. Now Lulu0 half health. IraqiZorro, is he outplayed? Question marks. He's trying to do the work. Getting taken very low. Not 10 yet. Outplayed trying to get on top of him. IraqiZorro is just, he's so good. He gets the kills. He gets out alive. So far,
Eve of Harvest.
2 for 2, you wouldn't believe it. Lost
No,
Boy Toff
Iraqi.
onto max screen. Pico here, still pretty healthy. IraqiZorro, can he get another kill? Onto Pico, yes he can. Outplay's going very low as well. Oh, maybe not, they're both sustaining. Lost Boy Toff with the stun. And Pico finds the kill. Now it's going to be level taken on down. Don't even have to play-by-play it, it just happened. Ace comes through for Team Outplayed.
Oh, I think, you know, you saw how much sustain that Eve of Harvest was giving Iraqi in those fights. The resonance bounce is making him very hard to take down. But unfortunately, it's also the same for Pico. Once he's got those stacks up on the breaking point, the Serpent's Mask becomes his best friend in those situations, and just didn't quite have the damage to finish him off through those barriers that get constantly generated. This might even be a Black Claw and a Ghostwing take, and suddenly things are looking pretty gloomy for Iraqi.
Yeah, very gloomy at this stage. 14-5. Gold definitely in favor of Team Outplay. The Ghostwing secured. TiVo too late to try and contest it. Black Claw now on the map, and they can go for it if they want to. I have to see if they do decide to pull the trigger immediately. They've been playing fairly well around IraqiZorro's team, but the times that they have failed at Scoundrel has been up in that top side of the jungle after getting Black Claws. Gotta remember, you gotta think that might be sitting in the back of their heads. Don't fight in that area.
Just don't go to their weapon power buff area, yeah? You know? That's easier. That's the easiest thing you can do.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely so. It's gonna be Black Claw started up. Starting the capture here. Looks like they're going to contest Team IraqiZorro. Lost Boy Toff just trying to hold them all back. Black Claw
Big
does
pull.
get secured. Big pulled over the wall though. Will it just start the fight where they don't want it? IraqiZorro the target. They burst him. IraqiZorro, he's going to go down very shortly. You think, there it is. Finally take down the Vox, and now they can fight. Now the weapon power buff is going to be 3 kills in favor of Team Outplayed. Only 1 casualty. The Black Claw pushing on up onto the armories.
Finally, Pico hits an ultimate, and it stuns some people. A little bit late on the Crucible, but it was such an impactful ultimate from Pico that it won them the fight outright, and that is going to be game.
It is going to be game here. Pico just showing off as TiVo and him 1v1. It looks like the team gets involved. Didn't want to lose his dignity. Didn't want to lose that fight. Vein Crystal goes down here. We have a series on our hand in this finals of the VPL Fantasy All-Stars. Team Outplayed take this one, pushing it to 1 apiece. I'm going to throw it back to the desk, but we'll have our final game coming up shortly.
What a game coming out. Outplayed, managing to even up this series. Pecco's Kensei is insane.
That was incredible. Well, and again, this is one of those picks that we were like, you know, it does exist. Maybe they pick it up. No one really gave it too much credit, but all of a sudden, Pecco just goes off with this hero.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
The team fights in the late game were just disgusting coming out. And honestly, Outplayed was ahead for pretty much the entire game. It turns out Rock Bomber's pretty good at Valia. He's pretty good at controlling the entire map when he gets Valia too.
Yeah, I mean, we had the other 2 players on here. They were like, well, IraqiZorro should win this one hands down. Like, they have the much better draft. That's why they're not in the finals, because that was a very strong win from Outplayed. And now both of these guys are 1 game away from picking up that $2,000.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And you can see Zorro going to take a moment here just to collect himself. And I know, I mean, we could hear the comms during the game. We were listening to these players. And Iraqi certainly not coming, he's not down in the mouth coming forward into game number 3 here. He's still going to keep spirits high with the team. He was saying, like, you know, we just needed to group up better. Our draft was still good. We still played well. Just allowed them to get to their win conditions.
Yeah, and we actually also heard him say, you know, well, it's 1-1, but we're on A side next. We can take away more of these picks and prevent them from being able to get those comfort picks, just like they did in game number 1. Keep in mind, game 1 of this Fest of 3, IraqiZorro's team, they were the ones that looked like they were going to dominate and just go a quick 2-0. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this draft plays out. We'll see if this Kensei gets through again, because if you take a look at Team Outplayed here and some of the outplays they were able to make.
Yeah, the team fighting, honestly, was fantastic. That one thing that absolutely stands out for Outplayed is their mechanics on every single member have been pretty fantastic across the course of today. We've seen them working together well as a team. You can see IraqiZorro's team managing to do well in this fight so far. However, there's a Kensei that they had to deal with, and it's not so simple when it comes down to it.
Is what was insane about it. Watch Kensei's health and how low he is this whole time, but manages to stay alive, just healing off the damage, out-healing the Vox, and finding that kill, and then just continuing to run the course and find more and more.
It was the fact that that looked like the team fight was already over. It was a done deal for IraqiZorro.
It was all right. This is a team that's been full of comebacks thus far. They're just about to make another one. They're going to take over the game and run it down and finish it off.
It's the presence of mind from Peko as well, understanding that he can go in there, that he's not going to die. He knows that he's got that sustain. He knows he has his flask available. But phenomenal stuff coming out from Outplayed's team. 1-1 on the board, which means we now have one game to decide who's going to take that $2,000 home. And I know you guys at home are favoring IraqiZorro right now. Outplayed has a thing or two to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, they were favoring IraqiZorro before we even started today. He was the favorite. Outplayed was by far the underdog.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, this one's a little bit closer in terms of the poll percentage.
39%, a little bit better than the, 9% that he got in the first poll for today. So certainly feeling slightly better about things. Almost a 50-50, but let's see how things are going to turn out now. Game 1 went the way of IraqiZorro, and we'll see how game number 3 is going to go for him, as I believe he's going to be on the A side once again. And that's where the Mastermind draft came on through. Ban the Varya, pick up the Reza for yourself, try and deny both Rock Bomber and Peko at the same time.
Yeah, but are you going to be able to do that now? With Peko just showing the Kensei and how strong he can be with that hero, you know, it's no longer, okay, we take the Reza and we don't have to worry about Peko anymore. Like, he's still going to have threats. He's still going to be able to pick up a hero and be this massive nuisance that everyone talks about. We'll see if the Anka ends up getting a ban here, perhaps, because that is something that Outplayed has, you know, almost relied on this B-side draft, is grabbing an Anka early on. But we'll see what the decision is for Team IraqiZorro.
If the Arden is banned by Zorro once again, I would love to see the Reza banned on the side of Outplayed. Basically say, if we can't have it, you can't have it either. Just eliminate basically every top laner from the meta, aside from maybe Jewel, and then see how the game goes from that point.
Yates that got banned, and now Team Outplayed, we'll have to see what they decide to do for this ban, because they basically have to choose what do we want to leave open for a potential first pick.
Honestly,
I still kind of want to see the Reza ban.
I'd love to see an Arden ban. LuluZ has proven that he can absolutely demolish teams with the Arden. It's just such a phenomenal pick for him. It's going to be Flicker taken off the board here. Arden, immediately. LuluZ can play it. He's shown it across the course of today. He's been dominating on that pick. Allowed through in the draft, immediately snapped up.
Yeah, we'll see if they can figure out a counter to this Arden. Not many people have been able to. The Arden is an extremely strong pick at the moment, and putting it in the hands of someone like Lulu, who has those mechanics, can make it pretty scary. Yeah. And they're going to grab Inara as a first pick. Interesting decision, and grabbing the Lyra to go with it. I mean, it does mean that they will be able to engage from a very long distance away.
I mean, yeah.
But now they have to get the rest of the team to build around that engage. It was all in engage last game, and it was able to work out for them pretty well. We'll see if they can replicate that.
I like the Inara early on. I just don't quite understand why Lyra has been such a priority pick in this draft for them. Just because, like, Lyra is good. Don't get me wrong. Lyra can be really good. We saw Shaded playing it last week. We've seen it a bunch. We've seen it mid as well. But it's not priority. Like, Iraqi's team has not shown any preference towards Lyra. You could get that as your 5th pick in worst case scenario.
While that is true, there's also the fact that when you grab this Lyra early, up against an Arden, if you have an all-in engage composition, you go in, you portal on top of Arden, and put down a Bright Bulwark. Arden can't do anything in there. That is the one key.
Sure.
None of Arden's abilities are usable inside of a Bright Bulwark.
Here's the thing, though. That still works whether you're 5th pick Lyra or not. So things like the Anchor that just got locked in for the side of IraqiZorro could have been on the side of Outplayed. I just feel like there are more priority picks available. Even the Lorelei that you picked in the next rotation, I think it's just a higher priority.
Yeah, it could be, but it could also be that they wanted to just save it and be able to have counter picks later on. Maybe they thought IraqiZorro's team might go for this Lyra and pair it with what the heck, they didn't have really any other healing options thus far. So it's obviously they'll have their reasonings for it. We'll have to see if we can find out afterwards. But right now, getting that Lorelei and the Finn, a lot of protection. This could even end up being a CP Lyra potentially.
Yeah, that's what I'm
which
thinking.
It has been used in the mid lane, especially starting all over. He had some massive games with this CP Lyra in the mid lane, so I could easily see that going to Rock Bomber. But then you wonder what this Lorelei is. Who's going to have this Lorelei in their hands as well?
It certainly fits Rock Bomber's kind of MO, right? When we've seen, once the Vaya gets banned, he's played things like the CP Gwen, which no one else really plays. CP Lyra, another pick that we have more mid laners that are willing to play it, but definitely a fringe pick. And it wouldn't surprise me at all to see Rock Bomber locking that one in. Lance going to come on through as well.
No one went for the Reza here.
I know, right?
He's still open, and no one is putting that priority on it. But maybe this Catherine could be the final pick for Outplayed. We've seen it be pretty good for Lost Boy Toph thus far. He's played it a few times, has had some pretty good success with it, and
this draft was weird, man.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see who was going to go where and where their weapon power. I mean, Inara is going to be some weapon power, but they don't have that massive weapon carry that you so often see in pretty much every draft.
We have seen other compositions work without major weapon power carries, though. It is possible to win games. It's not like, I mean, Aegis
this ends up being a
is
weapon
not that
Lyra.
popular right now, so say that again.
I said unless this ends up being a weapon Lyra.
True. I doubt that will be the case. We'll have to wait and see. So, Tasty Bacon, do we have a favorite? We're jumping into the last game of the finals, the last game of the last week here. Do we have a favorite?
On the compositions, I think IraqiZorro has the better composition, but I think Outplayed is going to be able to take this one. I think the way that they've been able to play is going to take it.
I think it's the other way around. I think Iraqi's got this. It's time to find out, though. I'm going to once again pass it over to Dowsy and Excoundrel for the final game of the day, the final game of our Fantasy All-Stars.
Game 3 of this best of 3 finals. It all comes down to this: Team IraqiZorro versus Team Outplayed. Winner takes all in this VPL All-Stars Fantasy event. Excoundrel, who's it going to be?
Well, compositionally, I couldn't think of a worse composition for an anchor to be played into. So I think TiVo's got an uphill battle in this particular instance. He's got Pico on the Lyra, Outplayed playing a very mobile Inara. You've got the Catherine tanky, Lost Boy Toph on the Finn tanky, and Rock Bomber also with that movement speed buff from his splashdown, also having his ultimate to back him up too. This is going to be rough for TiVo. However, everyone is very likely to be grouped. So this is where Iraqi could come up big on this CP Evox.
Sorry, can you repeat that, please? You said something that was a little bit shocking in that last sentence. Do you know what it was?
What was it?
Pico on the Lyra. I mean, that is just... Whew, I don't even know where to begin with that. That is just mind-blowing to me. Pico, I mean, was considered a one-trick pony only a few months ago. And now he's playing top lane Lyra. Why not?
I mean, it has been done. People have been playing a decent amount of top lane Lyra over the last couple of months. She is pretty solid. She's got decent wave clear, good harass in lane, with the sort of damage now front-loaded onto her basic attack. So yeah, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world for Pico to be styling here. against Luluzio and Level, although he doesn't, you've got to be careful about getting impaled every so often, but regardless, he should be able to hold his own pretty well.
Yeah, definitely, especially double melee versus the Lyra. Has the range, can throw those double auto attacks just for the extra damage, and of course got the sigil to heal himself up in lane. Luluzio's Arden was pretty scary when we saw it earlier today, pretty much unstoppable as he just backlined Dienzio's and Team Shaded Talent's team. I'll have to see how this one does continue to play out here. Really interesting compositions, like you mentioned. Excited to see if TiVo can pull anything off, especially.
Yeah, I mean, TiVo's going to have to find the perfect opportunities to dive in. There are squishy targets that you can look for. Obviously, Lyra's not going to be the beefiest in the world. Rock Bomber also a very viable target, but there was just lots of protection against the Ninara built into the composition for Outplayed. Yeah, so TiVo just has to be a little bit careful versus Cos here.
He's in a bit of trouble. Cos doing a lot of damage early on with the Catherine. Going to force the flask out of TiVo.
And the Catherine, she locks down an anchor that dives in with her A. Instantly stunned, most of the time if she doesn't pop her ultimate. So she's got to be a little bit careful. But like I said, where TiVo's shortcomings come through, I've said about 50 times. Sorry, guys, it's getting late. It's where TiVo's short. Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm telling you what you know, Dalsy, and I'm sure you'll know it once I tell you it. So you know.
I know.
So TiVo's shortcomings of not having easy targets to isolate, like I said, that's where IraqiZorro's strengths come up. He likes to be able to have the team grouped around a Finn. He likes to have that easy targets to resonance bounce from. And there's plenty of good combos with Iraqi in this team. So like I said, it's going to be an IraqiZorro-centric composition with TiVo potentially finding picks once Iraqi's getting a lot of that damage already down.
Definitely going to be the IraqiZorro show. It's been the Luluzio show for a lot of today. But in the previous game, IraqiZorro was the one making the plays, keeping his team alive for the longest of time before eventually they were outdone by Team Outplayed. Very slow start to this game. Nothing really to be said other than these guys are just farming it on out. Pico versus Luluzio in the bot lane. Currently, it's just Pico forced back under his turret, threatening blood for blood. Could have been the end of that Lyra and didn't want to test it out.
A lot of respect being shown between these two teams. Remember, this is the money game. This is everything. $2,000 going to the winner. Loser getting a consolidation prize of nothing. You go home empty-handed if you play second. Winner takes all in this situation. So any costly mistakes could be a costly mistake of about $2,000. So both teams just spying their opportunities, waiting for the prime time, waiting for item spikes, waiting for their overall compositional power spikes to really commit to anything huge.
I love the way, literally, this is the only game that matters. We've played how many of games today, but this is the only one that matters. You lose this, you just, it was a waste of your time. Nah, it wasn't a waste of your time. Never a waste of your time. But you win this, then ka-ching. That's all she has to say about that one. Rock Bomber and Cos, are they called out? Level stuns them against the wall. Max Green and IraqiZorro trying to get in position. TiVo roaming down as well. That's good. Impale. Could be Rock Bomber going down. It is. First blood goes the way of TiVo. The anchor getting on the board.
Yeah, a little bit of greed coming out here from Outplayed's team, especially coming from Cos and Rock Bomber. They went for those back camps, maybe looking to set up for a CP buff invade, but they got spied out by that scout cam. I think there was a scout cam in the area and just caught out by Level there as well. So very clever stuff from IraqiZorro's team to make that rotation, and they have put themselves in a sizable early lead, about 1,000 gold in their pockets. Just need to keep that rolling if they have a chance to make it to that $2,000 prize.
Yeah, and at this point, at 6 minutes, with the Ghost Wing now spawning, those bot lane engagements become even more impactful. Pico has to be even more careful against Luluzio and Level under that turret. If he loses his life, then it could just cause the rotation towards the Ghost Wing immediately. Especially for Team Outplayed here, they have to be very, very careful. Look at this, instantly goes under the turret. Maxry and IraqiZorro were going as well. Luluzio trying to set up with the gauntlet. Pico should lose his life just in a second, but Luluzio may go down as well to the turret. Oof, one more shot was always necessary. Cos roams in to try and contest, but now IraqiZorro is doing the damage to the Catherine. not where you want to be. Silence goes out, very low under the turret, and immediately onto the Ghost Wing. They're trying to really pressure Team Outplayed here.
Yeah, there was a portal used by Pico, I think, to get onto the turret as Iraqi goes aggressive onto Rock Bomber. And I think that portal meant that he was an easy target. Knowing that it was down, that cooldown was gone, there was no way for him to escape a tower dive from every angle that was coming out from IraqiZorro's team. And this is a very, very low team now around this Ghost Wing, and short respawn timers means it's an easy commit for the side of Outplayed.
Giant damage, 2 kills to Pico, getting his redemption here. Now the Ghost Wing already almost finished up. Looks like they may want to try and take it down. IraqiZorro in a good position if he can get the resonance bounces going. Gets burst down by the Lyra. Can he find any more is the question. LuluZorro's on the back line. Pico may be in trouble, pulling his way, trying to get us out. Won't be able to. Is the 1-for-1 trade. The Ghost Wing at half health is going to go down. Oh no, look at that. Tivo has been chasing Outplayed this entire time and finally finds the kill. It's messy across the board, but the Ghost Wing goes the favor of Team Outplayed.
Yeah, I just don't think there was the damage there from IraqiZorro's team to commit to the Ghost Wing, and they got punished for it. It didn't go down in time, and like I said, the low respawn timers makes it very easy for Outplay's team to respond. And they actually find themselves now in that gold lead, taking that global objective off the board. So a little bit of a mistake. Some of that early lead now wasted for IraqiZorro's team, and they'll just have to start to reset and look for other opportunities on the map.
Ghost Wing going to just shore up some of the weaknesses that Team Outplayed have shown so far. Defensively wise, they can start to regenerate, have that shield as well to help them on out here. Everyone's still playing things slow and carefully, not wanting to give their oppositions unnecessary advantages. Looks like they've brought Koz down to the bot lane to help out Pico here. They want to try and pressure this turret. Will be a 2v2 once Level gets involved.
Waiting now for bigger item spikes to come through, I think, for IraqiZorro's team. Now that he's there, he's got the Eve of Harvest. This makes him a lot more durable in these team fights. He does love to go for this over the Dragon's Eye second. Much prefers the sustain that comes with it, as opposed to having the scaling damage that the Dragon's Eye would provide. And you see why in some of these team fights in the previous games where he was taken very low but managed to get himself back up to full HP with those constant resonance bounces. I think, was that a Crucible or no? Just a reflex block by Max Green there. Just a reflex block.
Just a reflex block. What was that? They're all dead. Double kill for IraqiZorro, going for more. Triple kill, and it's Koz under the turret, gonna go down for that. He doesn't die. You need to give him the Quadra. Give him he doesn't get it. IraqiZorro is denied a Quadra under the turret, but it doesn't matter. The burst from nowhere, taking out Team Outplayed, and Outplayed now potentially just caught out as well under the turret. Dives back in onto Level, knocked against the wall, rooted, and that's going to be the kill for LuluZorro.
Was that a $2,000 impale? Was that a $2,000 impale? I think that was a $2,000 impale there from Level into a $2,000 gauntlet, because that was a wombo combo from IraqiZorro's team. Oh, Pico. Yeah.
He's angry.
He's angry about that last fight. Want to show his anger. Show his anger by diving onto Iraqi with that portal.
Man, $2,000 impale into $2,000 gauntlet into $2,000 Giffian war. Pico is angry and loses his life trying to take down Tivo. They do trade the kill. It's gonna be the silence coming on through, just scares them away from that team fight. Ghost Wing about to join us back on the map again, Scoundrel. Right now, Team IraqiZorro's team have all of the advantage in this game.
Yeah, I mean, they actually are only 400 gold ahead, believe it or not. Despite all of that, they are still only 400 net gold ahead. And they do have a huge amount of pressure on the bot side of the map that's going to allow them to go for Ghost Wing. With the take of that top lane turret, they might not be able to respond to this quickly enough, so I think this should just be an easy Ghost Wing take unless there's a steal coming through.
Lost Boy Toff moving on in with Rock Bomber. Pico dives on in. Oh, the central play! Gets the steal
he gets it.
Onto the Ghost Wing! And he will get out alive as well. Rock Bomber gets caught by the impale from Level. He's going to fall. Nothing to save him there, but the steal was successful from Pico.
Yeah, I mean, that's all that counts. keeps them well up and fighting in this game. Like I said, very equal gold levels, even though it looks like Iraqi's team have all the answers and all the pressure. It's still even Stevens across this final game in this best of 3.
Keeping things even. Holy, will they be able to do more is the question. Rotating up to the top side here is Team IraqiZorro, trying to potentially put pressure onto this turret with the Black Claw spawning as well. Iraqi himself making sure that mid lane doesn't get pushed in by Cos or Lost Boy. Vision being set up and turret being pressured. Team IraqiZorro want to keep Team Outplayed on their toes here, Scoundrel. Good reflex block keeps IraqiZorro alive. Gets stunned up, going in a 1v3. The rest of his team is here to support him as well. Impale doesn't do anything onto a Finn. IraqiZorro, though, doing work with those Resonance Bouncers.
Still no Crucible finished right now for Outplayed's team, and so many abilities that you want to consider Crucibling. It's going to need to be a shop, but I don't even know if Lost Boy Tusk's going to have the time to shop with Blacklaw getting focused. Pico is hard split pushing on the Lyra. No easy steal with the Sigil. This is going to be a showdown right now. There is still the option for a steal from Rock Bomber with that stuns. It has to be so careful.
Let's see if they can get it. No, they can't. It's secured. Lost Boy Tough now in a bad position. Gauntlet catches up Cos, and Rock Bomber's in trouble from LiluZio. Just a positioning ultimate here. Looks like Lost Boy Tough will hold them all back for now. You know this game is sweaty, Scoundrel, because IraqiZorro no longer Vox on Ice. Default skin for the max animation speed that he can get with his stutter stepping ability here. Makes a big difference to Vox mains, they'll tell you. Looks like the second tier 2 turret in the mid lane going to be under pressure now. IraqiZorro with the ultimate flies on through, silencing everyone. We're going to fall in just a second.
That's why I stuck with Vox and Ice. I always wonder why. I mean, I probably just stuck a Vox, but I didn't even know that. Genuinely didn't even know that.
Default skin, tier 1 skin, or tier 2 skin, Scoundrel. None of the others.
Wow, my Vox and Ice. I just thought I was bad. I mean, I probably am bad, but I'm gonna play Vox with no skin next time and see if I'm as bad as I usually am.
Yeah, Vox is the pay to lose here in Vainglory. Ringo, the pay to win one.
Well, Iraqi is.
It's not even.
Like
it's not even a thing that your animation is actually quicker. It's just that it feels smoother. To stutter stepping is a rhythm, right?
Yeah.
And so if the animations feel smooth, then you feel like you're playing well. And if the animations feel funky, there you go.
There's probably no like major feasible difference, but I totally agree. I always feel like I play Vox on Ice. I'm like, this just doesn't feel right. When I'm trying to start, it just doesn't feel right. I do completely agree with that. Got to be careful though, is the anchor is on the top side of the map, and everybody. This is a 5-man stack down for the Outplayed squad.
Lost Boy Tough going very low here. IraqiZorro is doing some work. Gonna be Outplayed, diving onto IraqiZorro. Lots of damage onto the Vox here. Can he escape is the question. No, he can't. Taken on down by Pico. That's a good start for Team Outplayed. And look at this. It's gonna be Max Green in trouble. They take down the Lance. LiluZio is getting ganged upon here. Trying to escape with his Arden. Is he tanky enough? Not likely. There's the Gauntlet. Stuns up a couple, but pulled straight back with the Forced Accord. It is gonna be kills galore here for Team Outplayed as they pick up 4, not even losing a member.
They're even going to get TiVo as well. There's no way for him to escape in this situation. I don't know. For me, that's just like such a basic error. I mean, you have a guy who's one of your major teamfight components on the other side of the map, and you start Ghost Swing, despite not knowing where any of the enemy team is, despite not having any vision of them, no one responding to TiVo. You don't commit to the objective until you see people respond. That's the thing, right? When you have a split pusher, you do not commit to an objective until you see someone physically in that lane with TiVo. And IraqiZorro's team get punished for what is a very, uncharacteristic error from these guys who are usually so good at playing the map.
Certainly. There's going to be the Ghost Swing secured here as Max Green gets engaged upon. Outplayed dives back onto IraqiZorro, who's in very much trouble. Easily taken out by Pico there. LiluZio going to go down as well. 2 kills, your 2 main damage dealers, not where you want to be. Forced Accord pulls level to his death. It's a double kill. Team Outplayed are here, then they want the money in this finals. With 3 kills going their way, 4 in fact I should say, they're going to push down the mid lane.
And again, like, there was no need to be there. It's really not that big of a deal to have to try and contest a Ghost Swing at this stage of the game. They may now even just give up a Black Claw as it's about to spawn. This is a huge swing for Outplayed. They're now 7,000 gold in the lead. This was an even game up until that point. 2 successive throws from IraqiZorro's team for some just very uncharacteristic errors that didn't need to happen, and now Blacklaw is the marker.
Going to be taken down, uncontested for now. We'll have to see if IraqiZorro's team throw themselves into the mixture once more. 10 seconds on a gauntlet, will not respawn in time for a fight, at least to contest. Maybe it will, and actually, they're taking it very slowly, but look, this straight engaged going on to TiVo here, trying to take down the anchor. Pico's on the back line with that Lyra thingamabob. I can't even speak. Pico's going down here. There's going to be 2 kills already going the way of Team Outplayed, and IraqiZorro is alive for now. Escaping Outplayed. Will he go down to Outplayed scenario? It looks like he may just do so. The Force Accord! It spells disaster! Everyone's dead. It's an ace coming through, and no one dies! Team Outplayed is on fire, unlike my commentary, and this is going to be game.
This will be game. $2,000 going to be going into the back pocket of Outplayed's team with some successive uncharacteristic errors, like I said, from IraqiZorro's team. But congratulations, Outplayed. Your team is going to take VPL All-Stars Week 4.
It was the team that no one expected coming into the VPL Fantasy All-Stars here. Team Outplayed with the clutch victory in Game 3 of our finals, taking home that cash money prize and pinning themselves on the Wall of Fame as well. Congratulations to them. With that, let's throw it back to Munch and Tasty in the studio.
What a way to end it all. Outplayed, managing to take the finals. You can see how happy he is with that result as well. I think he just realized that he's on camera partway through right there, but oh my goodness, against all odds as well.